to the Baswik podcast. My name is Frauke and I'm really happy to meet you and see you. I hope there are some returning viewers out there, and if you're new to this podcast, welcome. I have a lot of crafty things to show you today, both knitting and sewing and some other things. I visited a Christmas market and I want to tell you a little bit about that. And then I went to a few concerts. That's why this guy is looking at us, because I really want to share that with you as well. You can find me on Ravelry as FSiemer, and I have a Ravelry group as well for this podcast. It's simply called Baswik. You can find me on Instagram as Siemer. That's my personal profile. You can see all the crafty things that I do, but also join me in my everyday life with my boyfriend and our 4 Alaskan Malamutes, sled dogs. That's part of my world as well. And you can also find Baswik. The Beautiful and the Damned is all about my projects, current and finished. I've told you a lot about the elves I've made for my nephew and niece on previous podcasts, and they're finally finished, and I actually sent it off today. So last night when I was packing everything up to send it, I made a little video, and I will put it in the end of this episode, so everyone who wants to see what the calendar is all about can join and watch. I made a girl and a boy. The boy was made first. He's called Knas or Crunch. In Denmark they are called Nisse, and I actually found the pattern in English on Ravelry, so I have linked it in the show notes. It's a pattern by a Danish band called Filcolana or Filcolana, and I used their yarn as well. I used a different yarn for their hair because I really wanted them to be ginger. Just because I'm ginger and my nephew and niece are. I made the girl second, and I used a different strategy on her. I think I told you about it on the last episode, because I got a little bit bored knitting those figurines. So when I made the boy, I made the figurine first and then made the clothes afterwards. And with the girl, I did the opposite. So I knit up her clothes. It's a skirt and a hat and her shoes, and then I made the figurine afterwards. So everything was done when the puppet was done. Lastly, I wanted to put in a third figure because I wrote a story, 24 chapters, and I wanted them to have a companion. The elves needed a companion, so I knit up a sled dog. What else? Because I really want to influence my nephew and niece very positively, because they are a little bit afraid of my dogs because they are huge compared to them. They're only 3 and 5, and my dogs weigh 40 kilos. So they are a little scared of them. So I try everything I can, buying Christmas movies with sled dogs and giving them sled dogs and talking to them and about my dogs, and they're getting along very well right now. So let's just nurture that relationship. The dog is called Fenris. That's a mythical figure from Northern mythology, and it's an alternated pattern because I used one from loveknitting.com for Muffin the puppy, but I really didn't want it to be like a beagle or a basset hound type. I really wanted the sled dog type with the pointy ears. So I alternated the pattern, but I linked to the Muffin the puppy pattern down below. So if you feel up to it, you can knit a puppy for yourself. It was really fun making this, and I've planned it for a while because my sister-in-law asked me to knit these dolls, and she wanted to pay for them. And then 2 weeks ago I called my brother and asked him if they wanted to do something special for the kids, because then I really wanted to write this story and then let them move in separately. So every day something tricky is happening in their house, and the first elf doesn't really know why, because he's in the house. He's a house elf and not in the Dobby style, just that he takes care of the family and nurtures the Christmas spirit all around Christmas. and there's only one elf in every house, so yeah. Suddenly his friend Trille moves in, and then the dog moves in on the third Sunday of Advent, and I think they're going to have a lot of fun with it, and I really hope my brother is sending some footage so I can see the reaction to this story and all the work I made, because it's taken up a lot of my time over the past week, because I had to write the story and print it all and put it into envelopes, but I also had to figure out what was supposed to happen in these 18 days, I think, before everything settles down and everything is quiet, where they can do Christmas ornaments and bake some cookies. So I'm really looking forward to that. The 1st of December is already on Friday, and they're going to Berlin the first 2 days, but I've sent the package along so they can just pull it out of the main box and take it with them. So I really hope they are doing all they can to make this special for the kids. Another project I've made over the past 2 weeks is the cable watch cap. I'll write it down here. It's a pattern I bought on Ravelry. I was looking for a hat for my mom. I showed you the mittens I made for her for Christmas. Those, I think it was in the first episode. It was made of some hedgehog fibers yarn, and it reminded me of autumnal woods and the colors, red and green and a little bit of purple and brown. But since I know that my mom is not into all those bright colors, I thought that she needed to have a hat for these. So I bought some Madeleine Tosh Merino DK. I think it's the taught color, but I will put it in the show notes once I've checked. I didn't get around doing it before I started taping or recording. But this is the hat. It looks quite long, but it actually fits really well. There's a really long ribbed edging. She likes that because she wants her ears to be warm. And there's this lovely, like this, cabled and twisted pattern. It's a pattern by Kristen Orm, and I have a link to it down below, and I really love the pattern. I started it going to Copenhagen in the middle of November, just because I didn't want to work on the train. I just wanted to knit. It's so lovely to sit on the train and watch podcasts and just knit. So that's what I did, and I almost finished it before I got home, and I will tell you the story about that later, because it was actually a quite horrible story. But yeah, now I can laugh at it, and I almost made a hat. But I finished it last weekend after I finished the dog. So now I can pack this up. The only reason it's not packed up is because I wanted to show it to you. But I'm really happy about the result. And I've knit in Madeleine Tosh before, but I simply adore it. And I bought some skeins for my mother-in-law for her birthday at the start of this month. And I hope she loves it just as much as I do, and I can't wait to give this to my mom. It's, for Christmas. It's just around the corner. Another thing I made last Sunday was a hat for my niece. It's not finished yet, or that is, the knitting is finished, but all the finishing needs to be done. It is this hat. It is called the Pomlin set. It's part of the Pomlin set from Heidi May. I'm sorry, I'm looking down. My show notes are down here. She's better known as the, what's she called? The Velvet Acorn design. I found it on Ravelry. I've seen her designs before, and I really wanted to make something for my niece. And then my sister-in-law asked if I could knit her a hat for winter. Her overall is black and pink, so I thought, why not order something from Miss Babs? And I showed you last week I got the huge skein K2 base. It's called BFF, and I really love the color. The big decision was what color this ribbed edge or band had to be, and I had to choose between a really bright pink or this charcoal, and I decided for this charcoal because then I will put on 2 pink buttons, and I've ordered a fur pom-pom from the UK, and I hope it will come very soon. It should be here. It should have been here today, but it hasn't been in the mailbox, so hopefully it will come tomorrow. So a bright pink pom-pom on top and those 2 pink buttons, and then it's ready to go to southern Denmark to my niece, and maybe I hope she will like it. It's not overly pinkish and girlish, but I think it's just what she needs, and it won't get too dirty down here where the ears are, where her hands are all the time. She's not a messy girl, but she likes to have fun, and so that might involve mud and playing outside. So that's what this is for. So I hope they will like it. My sister-in-law decided on the pattern. I had some suggestions for her, and I have a lot of yarn. Yeah, I still have a lot of yarn, and maybe I will knit up another hat for her. She can get it for Christmas. So that was the second, almost finished project this week. And then something the grocery girls call sock talk. And yes, I do watch the grocery girls, because who doesn't? I've shown you these socks before. It's my Hermione's Everyday Socks. I'm participating in the box of socks cals. It's by Kristen from Woolenvine, and I was knitting my hands off this spring because I really wanted to make these 12 socks, and I made a lot of progress, and I was way ahead of time. My plan was just to do 1 pair of socks each month, and then I would easily be done by Christmas. But then I came to these Hermione's Everyday Socks, and it's not that I don't like the pattern, because I made it before and I really liked it, and I liked the texture and the feel of it, and the design is great. But I think it was a combination of the yarns. I thought it was a good idea when I started it, but yeah, when I came further along, I was not so happy about it. But nevertheless, 2 finished socks. I finally made it. It was just an afternoon's work. When I showed you the last time, I already finished the first one, and I had done the cuff, and I'd done the heel flap, so it was just doing the foot and completing the toe. And I don't know why I didn't do it. I just didn't feel up to it. But now they are complete, and I can put them in my box. I will show you the box in the next episode, because it's almost full. The yarn is by Wollsucht, a store in Flensburg in Germany, and I go there every Christmas with my family, and we are going there this December as well. And I have to go to this store because I really love to be there. They have everything, and they are so kind, and they are so nice, and I always end up buying way too much. Luckily, I am always finished buying all the Christmas presents when I go there, so it's just buying for myself. The cuff and the toes are made of ladybug fiber. I found the store on Etsy, and she does minis in solid colors, and I really wanted some solid colors for my cuffs and toes. So I thought this green one would fit really well with this green one in this speckled yarn, or variegated yarn. And it does. It's actually almost the same color, but knit up, not that big a fan. It somehow reminded me of Hermione, this color. I don't know why. And I will use them, and I will wear them out, but they're done. That's the main thing right now. Because those, I thought I was way behind because I haven't knit socks in a very long time. Because I had all those other projects I've told you about the last few weeks and shown you. But then I got into my project page on Ravelry, and then I saw, oh my god, those were actually number 9. So I only need 3 more socks, pairs of socks that is, before New Year's. So I wasn't way behind. So now I see the light at the end of the tunnel, because when I finished Hermione's Everyday Socks, I was so thrilled with knitting socks again. I found my knitting mojo for socks that I immediately cast on those. I only have one finished sock, but those are the Weasley Homestead by Erica, she called Luda. I'm sorry. She also made the pattern for the Hermione's Everyday Socks, and they are so easy and they're so lovely to follow. And I already caked up this yarn. It's another one by Volzucht. I will put the link down below because I maybe think you can buy it online. I'm not quite sure. I always buy when I'm there. But that's luxury if you're living abroad. So this blue colorway, she doesn't name her. She does not name her yarns. So it's just yeah, a blue color. I used a mini again for the cuff and the toe. I think they match very well. It's a light blue one, and actually the second sock is already knit until I think I need 5 more rows on the toe, and then they're finished as well, and I started them last week. So you can see my knitting mojo is back on, yeah, regarding socks. So I'm really looking forward to finishing those, because then I have 2 sets of socks for Christmas, and I have something special in store for you in just a minute. This segment is also about the damned, and as you can tell, I didn't show you a project about my vintage jumper, my Christmas vintage jumper, and that's because it's still caked up. It has still not been cast on, and I feel horrible about it, and I know I can make it, but somehow I just can't bring myself to cast it on. I will finish the Weasley Homestead socks tonight. By the way, they're knit on DPNs, Zing DPNs. I think I fangirled way too much about them last time, so maybe that's why I'm forgetting them right now. But once I finish them, I will start my Christmas jumper, and I will start it because I won't allow myself to start another pair of socks before Friday, and that is because I want to start my first cal on Friday, my Christmas sock knit along, and I hope you will all join. But yeah, let's get back to that even later. The damned, yeah, that is the sweater. But also I've shown you the Stephen West hat, the Yes checks I wanted to knit out of Hedgehog Fibers pollen. I didn't even bring it today because I've decided to frog it. I've actually not frogged a project in a very, very long time, but I'm just not feeling it. So I am looking for a pattern for this particular yarn because I really, really love it, and I think it would look lovely to my in the winter or here in autumn when we're training the dogs, and I really love those hand-knit hats. So if you have a pattern for DK yarn and it's yellow and it's lovely, and you would think that's just you, please point me in the direction and show me, because I really need some inspiration. I am using way too much time on Ravelry as it is, and it would be really lovely to see what you would give me a tip about. So yeah, show me and tell me, or write me and point me in the right direction, and I will look into it and maybe have a hat really soon. Sorry, I had some trouble with the electronics, so I had to fix it before I could continue because there was no more battery on my iPhone, and I'm filming this on my iPhone. But I want to tell you about the greatest thing that happened in the last week, and yeah, it's stash-wise. It's the only thing I bought, or I bought it 2 weeks ago, but it came by mail last week, and it is this. Maybe you can read it. It's the Cozy Knitter, and yes, it's Gingerbread House. I am so happy that I got my hands on this on her last update and finally possessed this. It was sent to me very quickly, and I received it, I think it was last Friday, last Friday, and had a really hard week at work, so it was really nice to come home and then find this in the mail. This will be my first cast on Friday, when my first ever knit along starts. It's the theme is about Christmas socks, so I really want you all to join. Cast on is on Friday. You can cast on anything. It must be something new. You cannot have a sock and then just finish the second one. I really want us all to knit a pair of socks during the month of December, and since I am going abroad on the 27th, I will already find the winners of this knit along on the 26th, and I will make a thread on Ravelry in the Baswik group where you can put your finished projects, and I will do a chatter thread, so you can feel free to put everything in there regarding your Christmas socks and your progress, and we can cheer each other on, because maybe the sock mojo will disappear again amidst all the Christmas stuff going on. But cast on is on Friday. Winners will be announced on the 26th, and I will announce the winners around noon on Ravelry, and maybe with a little video. I won't do Vlogmas because I'm just trying to be realistic, and I know I won't get the time for it because it's a very busy time of year. Exams are starting at the school where I'm working, so I don't think I will get it done every day, but I will look forward to all the people doing it. I've heard that Homespun House is doing Vlogmas again, and I really enjoyed her Vlogmas last year. The Knitting Expat and maybe the Grocery Girls will do it as well. But I'm really looking forward to it because it's just something special, and it's really great to see how everyone is preparing and enjoying the Christmas time. So Friday, show me what you are casting on, and participate, and I will do something special for you. There will be a project back for the winner, and it will be something specifically made for this knit along. So yeah, come and join. I would really love that. Speaking of winners, I said I wanted to try something, do my first giveaway. I started on the last podcast and on the last episode, and winners will be announced on Friday on the 1st of December, and it's easy because you just go to the Baswik group and you tell me your best Christmas memory, and it's all in the spirit of Christmas because I really, really love Christmas. That's looked really intense, but it is. I'm fighting really hard not to throw myself headfirst into Christmas. I have bought some Christmas ornaments at the Christmas market we went to on Saturday, but I have not put anything up yet. I haven't bought a tree. I am really trying to push it until the 1st of December because I have a Grinch in my house. My boyfriend, he likes Christmas, but he's not as enthusiastic as I am. So that's my project for December, and I am really looking forward to Friday because I will clean the entire house and I will just go berserk. But it's going to be fun, and I will look forward to putting on my White Christmas album by Bing Crosby, because that's just what Christmas is all about to me. So, yeah, so I'm saying it all the time, but this time it's really true. I've been sewing with needle and thread. No, I've been sewing on my machine. I showed you this fabric last week, or in the last episode, and I bought it at the market I went to a few weeks ago with my mother-in-law, and it's a wool fabric, and I thought I had bought everything that I wanted at the market, but then I came across this and I just had to own it, and now I've made it, my skirt. It's a pattern by How to Do Fashion. It's a Danish designer, and she makes these vintage. I can't speak anymore. Sorry, I will drink a little bit of coffee. Sorry. She makes these vintage-inspired patterns. She's really lovely, and she's on Instagram. Just look for How to Do Fashion. She has a web page called howtodofashion.com, and I will link to it down below. She makes her patterns in Danish and in English, and some of them are even downloadable. So please go and check it out. They are fabulous. I've test sewn a pattern for her, and I've made a coat from one of her patterns, and I think this is the third skirt I made. It's like Katie has her Robe Bluet. I have this one. It's called Svanike. It's the number 8, and I adore everything about it. It's pleated, and there's invisible zipper in the back, and it's easy. I made it within a day, I think. Steamed the fabric and cut it out, serged it, and put in the zipper, and yeah, it was done. So I've already worn it twice. Once last week, the day after I finished it, and then again on Saturday when we went to the Christmas market. It's very Christmassy, and I try to combine it with some other colors. It's mainly it's this beige background with red and green and blue stripes, and combining it with blue. It's not that Christmassy, but I know that on Friday I will definitely wear this with a red with a red blouse and a white shirt underneath, and then it will definitely be Christmas for me. I will take a picture and maybe post it on the next episode so you can see it when I'm wearing it, and I really recommend her patterns. Nana, they're just fantastic and easy to follow. She does great instructions, and she has little videos for difficult parts, and it's just lovely. Another thing I wanted to show you, that's because someone asked me if I do other things than knitting, and now I've shown you my sewing, but I also made another project, and I will just take this. This is a project I made last year. It's cross stitch, and I'm really not that big a fan of cross stitching, but sometimes I get crazy ideas, and this was definitely one of them, because I wanted to knit one of the pictures I took of one of my dogs a few years back, close up of his eyes, because he has the most calming eyes in the world, and I thought I want to see that every day. So I wanted to make a pillow, and it was there was this trend in Denmark with these cross-stitched pillows, so I thought I want to do something personal, and I took the picture and I put it through my photostitch.com. That's a generator where you can decide on how many colors you want to use, and do a stitch pattern, and you can print it, and it's for free, and I thought that was a brilliant idea. So I printed it, and I went to the local store where I've never been before, where they only sell these cross-stitch and handcrafting things, and I thought, okay, this is going to be great, and I bought the fabric, So I came home and I measured it, and I thought, oh, it's going to be too small. I want a big pillow. So I doubled it, but that means for every time you make one stitch, you need to do 4. And I'll just show it again, and I will put in the video, because I took a picture every night when I was stitching it, because it was so slow and it took such a long time. I really enjoyed it because it was fun as well, and I could see how the pattern was developing, and I could see that it was just one eye and then the other, and it was really fun. But I had to see the progress, and it was something different when I took the picture, and I could see them side by side and see, okay, I was here yesterday and here I am today. It took me a month, entire December, to make this pillow, and I love it. And I think it's, I will put it down here because I calculated how many stitches there are, and I knew that I couldn't do it when I was sewing it, because then I would just give up. So I did it when the last stitch was made, and I put it onto it's a corduroy fabric, and it has a steady place in my living room on the couch. So every time I come in there, Wookie is looking at me, and that's the name of the dog, Wookie. And I really like it, and it's very special to me. So I do other things, crazy things. Project I've planned, it's knitting again, is actually this one. It's the Songbird Mittens by Erika Heuser Designs. One of my very dear friends is a singer, and she just got a songbird tattooed on her hand, and she saw my mother's mittens and she really liked them. So now if I can fit it in somehow, I might try to get these done by Christmas. But talking about music, I was telling you about the hat and how I got to knit a lot when I was in Copenhagen. I went to Copenhagen on the 14th of November because I wanted to attend a concert. I actually wanted this friend who I want to make these mittens for. I wanted to take her with me, but she couldn't on that particular day, and I bought the tickets like half a year ago because I really wanted to see this artist. And so I went there alone. I lived in a nice hotel near the central station and went to the concert. It was in DR's Koncerthus, that's Danish television. It's their concert hall, and it's very famous because they have great acoustics. And I went to see a guy called Jason Isbell. That's this one. For those who do not know him, he is a country / rock musician and songwriter. I really like his music. And I went there, and he had this lovely lady as a warm-up called Tift Merritt. She is an American artist as well, singer-songwriter, and I've never been in this concert hall before, and it really touched me very deeply when she began singing. It's this great acoustic, and she was standing there and playing on piano or keyboard, and her guitar, and when she wanted to start the last song, she said she wanted to try something, and then she just stepped away from the microphone, plucked out her acoustic guitar, and she just started singing. And she wandered around the audience, and it was amazing, and I was so touched, and I started crying, and sometimes I get very emotional when I listen to music. I love music. It does something real special to me and for me. And this was just out of this world beautiful, and I highly recommend her Tift Merit. I've listened to a lot of her music since that night, and she's bohemian country lady, and she just sounds really nice, and she has a lovely voice. So go check her out. Jason Isbell was on with his band, the 400 unit, and it blew my mind, and it was really great, and just a lovely experience. I wanted to buy a t-shirt because I am one of those girls who has been there and has got the t-shirt. So I went to, before the concert, I went to the merchandise booth, and I wanted to buy this Jason Isbell t-shirt. But the credit card they wouldn't accept it. They had an American system, so I just thought, well, I'll just order it online. And when the concert was over, I walked to the hotel. I just needed to clear my head and just listen to music and just be alone. So I walked across Copenhagen in the middle of the night, got to sleep, got up next morning, went to the central station, wanted to put my luggage in one of those check-ins where you can just leave it for the day and walk around Copenhagen. So I went there, and I put my luggage into this box and closed it and wanted to pay, and then it declined my card. And I thought, okay, I'll just try again. Maybe there's something wrong with this card reader. So it still declined my card. So I went to the next box and tried again. The same. So I went upstairs and into the central station and wanted to buy a ticket home, because in Denmark it's like we never have any cash anymore, because we use our credit cards, and we have something called mobile pay, blah 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 blah, so we hardly have any cash on us, and I didn't have any money, so I couldn't buy my ticket for the train ride home, and I live 3.5 hours from Copenhagen, so I really needed to get home sometime. I have some friends in Copenhagen. I'm sure they would have come and helped me, but I couldn't understand why my card wasn't working. So I tried to buy a ticket, and it declined my card again. So I called the bank and asked if my card was declined, and they say yes, it was shut down by this my card holder due to some suspicious activity the night before. And I could then tell them, well, I tried to buy a t-shirt from Jason Isbell's merchandise booth, and it declined my card, but it closed it immediately after that. But since I hadn't used my card since the previous night, I didn't know. So I kindly asked them to open my card again, because I couldn't go home without any money. So they said they would open it, and I had to wait like 5 minutes, and then it would be open. So I sat down in the middle of Copenhagen Central Station, pulled out my knitting, my projects, and the hat, and started knitting. And after 10 minutes, I got up and tried to buy a ticket, and it still declined. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just sit down again. And so half an hour passed, and an hour passed, and my card was still declined. So I called one of my colleagues at my work, because we have like a deal with the Danish train association, or what you call the ones who own the trains, and I could buy my ticket with an app through my work. So I just asked for permission, and of course I could do that. So I bought this ticket with the app and jumped into a train, even though I had planned that I wanted to go through Copenhagen and visit this yarn store and go see a store, vintage clothing. But none of that happened because I was desperate to go home and this was my chance. So I jumped into the train and wrote my bank lady to ask her if my card was opened, or did I have to order a new one, or I was just lost. I didn't have any money, and I talked to the service station, or the service people in the morning, and they told me they wanted to open it, and they obviously didn't. So she called me just like 30 seconds later and apologized. She could see they didn't open my card. Asked me if I got on a train and got home, and I told her this whole story, and she was really, really sorry. But yeah, everything ended well. Only I got on the train, I didn't get any breakfast. I didn't get my coffee. So when I came home to Esbjerg at, I think it was 2:30 in the afternoon, I ran into the 7-Eleven, bought my coffee, bought some bread, and just ran out to my car and drove home, eating and drinking, because I was just so hungry. And yeah, you haven't seen me without any coffee, so yeah, feel lucky. I got home, and I can laugh at it today. It was really stressful sitting there in the central station. I was really happy that I had my yarn and my knitting needles with me, and I almost finished the hat on my way home, so something good came out of it, and I had a lovely evening at the concert. It was a great experience. I wouldn't have changed it, but it was a mess. It was really a mess, but my card works again and everything's fine. So now the Christmas shopping can begin. And speaking of Christmas shopping, I can tell you it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. It really is. On Saturday, or last week, my parents called and asked if they could visit us on Saturday, and I had a busy week at work, so I didn't feel up to it. So I asked if we could meet at something called Egeskov Slot. It's a little castle here on Fynen. It's an island in the middle of Denmark. And they have Christmas markets all the weekends in November, and my parents haven't visited it yet, so we were there like 2 years ago, and there are always a lot of people, and it's really stressful, but I could manage that way better than my parents visiting us at home. So we went there on Saturday, and we were there about 10 o'clock and left at, I think, 1:30. I bought some Christmas ornaments and a little Christmas tree, and I will put on some footage right here so you can see it. It's this lovely spectacle where they open not the castle, but the stables, and this great hall where there are a lot of booths. It's everything from gløgg, that's a Danish Christmas specialty. In German it's called glühwein, and or it's something similar. It's heated wine and berries, and it's really tasteful. I didn't drink any of it, but you could buy lots of chocolate and calendars, and there are these crafty people where you can buy knitted mittens and everything the heart desires, and a lot of booths where you can buy Christmas things. So I bought this little Christmas tree made out of wood for my windowsill, and some Christmas ornaments and some candle holders. Yeah. But it was really lovely, and if you're ever in Denmark in December, I would highly recommend it. It's really, really lovely. I finished binge watching what I talked about last week. I told you that I've been binge watching Die Another Day, and I got through all of the episodes, so now I am highly anticipating new ones. No pressure from me. I know you are very busy women, but the Cozy Knitter and the Yarn Enabler are the two lovely ladies at Die Another Day, and I've really enjoyed watching everything you do, and you just have a lovely, lovely chemistry. Another podcast I tried watching this week, and I stumbled across her by accident, was Earth Tones Girl. I think it's because everyone's been at Rhinebeck, and living in Denmark, I can only watch and long to be there. But since Amanda and Christina from Die Another Day went to Rhinebeck, I think it was one of the suggestions. So I tried watching Denise from Earth Tones Girl, and wow, she has the most calming voice you will ever hear. I know my voice is just going up and down, and it's my third language, and I have a lot of flaws in my grammar, but she's just so wonderful. And I wrote her this weekend just to tell her that I watched one of her episodes and I love everything about it. And she responded this morning, and she was really happy, and she couldn't believe that someone in Denmark was watching her podcast, but I am. And I really love it, and please do more episodes. She's a fanatic sock knitter, and she does some really great things, and she just seems so lovely, and I really recommend watch her. If not for her knitting, then just to be calmed by her very, very nice voice. It has been great seeing her in the mornings when you are busy and a bit stressed, and she can just pull you down on the ground again and just make you feel calm and comfortable. So thank you for that, Denise. Not to say that she does not do great projects, because she really does. She made a lovely, lovely sweater. I just watched an episode where she showed it, and that woman has some really great gifts knit-wise. So check her out. That's it for today. I have enjoyed every second being with you and telling you about my crafty life. It's been a little bit more versatile this week because I've been sewing and showing you some of my older projects. As promised, I will put in the video of the Christmas calendar for my nephew and niece. And if you wonder, she didn't tell us about these socks, which you see in the last part, then that's true. I didn't tell you about those, but I made them yesterday. So it was the last project to be finished for this Christmas calendar. It's been really nice talking to you, and I hope I will see you in 2 weeks when I will be back and enter the giveaway, cast on a project on Friday for my first ever cal. And thank you for watching. Happy knitting, and Merry Christmas very soon. Bye. I am about to pack up this Christmas calendar for my nephew and niece, and I've been talking about this because I knit the elves, or gnomes, Nisse as they're called in Denmark, for it. Actually, my sister-in-law asked me to knit them, and she wanted to pay for them, and then I told her, well, I can do that. But then about 2 weeks ago I got this brilliant idea that I wanted to do something special. So they are moving in separately. I got the message that my brother and his family are going to Berlin for a few days, so they are getting the first part in Berlin. I have written a story, so there are 24 chapters, one for each day, and something strange is going to happen each day. This one, Knas, you know him, I've talked about him on the podcast. He's moving in as the first elf, and in Denmark we have cheeky elves, and they do tricks on people. So Crunch isn't, or Knas isn't one of them. He's a house elf, and not in the Dobby sense. He's there to make sure that the Christmas spirit is alive for all month. And he's been looking forward to this because it's his first year as a house elf, and then all these strange things happen in his house. These are in the breakfast cereal one morning. This is red food coloring. It's put into the milk one day. The next day, all these Christmas things are hanging from the ceiling, and he does not know what it's all about because there's only one elf in every household. So they're getting cookies. One day the table is set for 2 elves instead of 1, and then she moves in. I haven't shown her yet. I will definitely talk about her on the podcast. I had a different strategy making her than the others, or than Crunch, because I started to get bored knitting those.